Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of the DAN Show, and welcome to my latest NFL mock draft video. Now, this video is going to break down the Miami Dolphins and what they're going to do with the third pick in the NFL draft. Now, if you're a fan of the NFL draft or NFL mock drafts, this is the channel for you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget, every Friday, 7 p.m. Central, I go live on YouTube. I answer all questions, all 32 teams. It's a great show. I've been very lucky because I've had regulars all over the country come and join the show. So it's a great show. I encourage you to join. Now, with that out of the way, let's get to the video. First off, with the third pick in the 2021 draft, I don't think it's going to be the Miami Dolphins making this selection. I think that they're going to trade down. And I think there's really four prime candidates that the Miami Dolphins are going to make this trade with. First off, Atlanta at 4. And basically, this makes a lot of sense for both sides. If you're the Atlanta Falcons and there's a player available at 3, you want to make this trade to prevent other trades from being made. And if you're Miami, you definitely want to trade with Atlanta because whoever is offering you trade compensation at 3, you make that same trade at 4. So there are going to be candidates, whether you're at 3 or at 4, that want to go ahead and trade up. I think this would be the perfect situation for the Miami Dolphins, is to make a flip-flop with Atlanta. Granted, I don't know if Atlanta wants to make that trade up or not, but I'm going to talk about the Falcons on Friday. The second team I would really pay attention to is the Philadelphia Eagles at 6. They have trade capital after the Carson Wentz trade, so it makes a lot of sense for them. Plus, they haven't publicly endorsed Jalen Hurts as their starter yet. Now, keep in mind, I'm making this video in February. Between now and the NFL draft, they may go ahead and say, hey, Hurts is going to be our guy. And if that's the situation, then the Eagles may not be a candidate. But as of right now, they have the trade capital. And I think that they do want to take a look at drafting a quarterback. So they're definitely a prime candidate to trade up. Carolina at 8. Now, the difference between Carolina and the other two teams I brought up is that Carolina would probably offer a player. They would probably offer a skill position player along with the 8th pick in the draft. And that's interesting because if you're the Miami Dolphins, you go from 3 to 8 and you add a solid skill position upgrade. That's a win-win because you still get a top 10 player, plus you get a starter, which you desperately need to make to that next level. Keep in mind, since Brian Flores has been there, he went from 5 wins to 10 wins this year. Now they're looking at making the playoffs. So adding a starter plus a top 10 pick is really enticing. And the final team that I think is a very serious trade candidate would be San Francisco at 12. They've been public in trying to trade Garoppolo. The question is that I think that they would be in the same situation as Carolina, where they would have to offer the 12th pick plus a player or 2 or multiple draft picks to make that jump up. Now, I do think Washington and Chicago are interested, but I don't see them having to trade capital in order to get that high. If these two teams want to make a trade, I think it'll be later in the first round, not at pick number 3. So basically, come draft day, I don't think it's Miami Dolphins are making the third pick in the draft. I think that it'll either be Atlanta, Philly, Carolina, or San Francisco that's making the pick number 3 in the 2021 NFL draft. But if the Dolphins do make a pick at 3, here's what they're going to do. In this mock draft so far, we've had 2 quarterbacks go 1 and 2. So the Dolphins who are picking at 3 have the options of going either best player available or greatest position of need. Lucky for the Miami Dolphins, that's really one and the same. And basically, Miami needs a skill position upgrade to help Tua out. So they're either going to go with a wide receiver or Kyle Pitts, the tight end out of Florida. Now, there's a lot of mock drafts that had Penei Sewell going here with the 3rd pick, but last year, Miami used both the 18th and the 39th pick to get their starters on the left and right side. So being that you have 2 really good players already at the left and right tackle, I think it's highly unlikely that you're going to go ahead and take another offensive lineman, especially with the 3rd pick in the draft. And me personally, I have Kyle Pitts and these wide receivers rated higher than Penei Sewell, but of course that's open for debate. And I'd love to hear what you have to think about this. But in my opinion, I think that Miami's biggest need and the best players available are offensive skill position players. Now, there's 4 candidates that I think the Miami Dolphins are going to look at. Kyle Pitts is one of them. You have both of Tua's teammates, former teammates at the University of Miami, and Jalen Waddle and Devontae Parker. And then you also have Jamar Chase out of LSU. Now, both of Tua's former teammates would pair up very nicely with Pro Bowl tight end Mike Gesicki and Devontae Parker. Just having either one of these guys on the field makes Gesicki's and Devontae Parker's life a lot easier, just because you're not able to double team. You can't cheat with a safety because you got a guy who can take the top off in either one of these guys. So it really makes these guys' life a lot easier just by being on the field. Pitts is interesting because you already have a Pro Bowl tight end, but you don't have a guy who has this type size speed combination. The closest thing you can compare Kyle Pitts to would be Travis Kelce. And last year, Travis Kelce went down to Miami as part of the Kansas City Chiefs, had 8 catches, 136 yards, and a touchdown. So after seeing that, getting a guy like Kyle Pitts, who's very similar to Travis Kelce, could be very, very appealing to the Miami Dolphins, and something I think the Dolphins will think about when they are on the clock. However, with the 3rd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, I have the Miami Dolphins selecting Jamar Chase, wide receiver out of LSU. Now, 2 years ago with Justin Jefferson, LSU may have had the greatest college football offense of all time. And as a rookie last year, Justin Jefferson had 88 catches for 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns en route to a Pro Bowl. Well, they didn't play the Pro Bowl, but you know what I mean when I say he was a Pro Bowl receiver. That national championship team, Justin Jefferson was wide receiver number 2. Jamar Chase was wide receiver number 1. Now, I know it's not the best way to determine who the best receiver is in this draft by going off a teammate's accomplishment in the NFL, but I simply can't get past it. Another thing is that I watched Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr., and Justin Jefferson come out of LSU, and Jamar Chase looked better than all 3 of these guys. These are 3 very accomplished Pro Bowl wide receivers that I watched play in college, and Jamar Chase looked better than all 3 of these guys. So with the 3rd pick, if the Miami Dolphins don't trade, I think that they're going to take Jamar Chase, the wide receiver out of LSU. But this is my opinion. I want to know what you think. Let me know what your opinion is. Drop a comment below. And hey, let's just go ahead and talk football. This is my opinion. I ultimately want to hear from you. Now, Friday, I'm going to release my Atlanta Falcons mock draft video, and I will be live on YouTube at 7 p.m. Friday night, Central Standard Time. So, hey, I will see you Friday.